Welcome, one and all, to The Late Show. I am your host, Stephen Colbert. Folks, I have spent almost the entire last year trying to avoid talking about our former president, Teeny Weeny Peeny Mussolini. But no matter how hard you try to avoid him, his name keeps coming up. He's history's taco burp. The latest belch comes in a new book from former White House Chief of Staff and man maintaining eye contact as he crushes your child's hamster, Mark Meadows. According to Mark Meadows, in the fall of 2020, the former president tested positive for COVID a few days before his first debate with Joe Biden. Okay, that is totally irresponsible. That's almost as reckless as when Walter Mondale debated Reagan wearing his pet cobra. Now, a week later, we learned the president actually did have COVID and was hospitalized for it. But who could have known that he might have been positive at the debate that Tuesday? Let's ask my good friend, me from last year. So, if he was feeling down on Wednesday, that means he may have been contagious when he debated Joe Biden. You can't go wrong when you bet on the former president lying. Yeah. That's money in the bank, baby. Yeah. That's money in the bank. Cha-ching.
It's a shame.
It's just one of those certainties in life, like death and him not paying taxes. Now, according to Meadows' book, 3 days before the debate, Meadows called his boss and said, "Mr. President, I've got some bad news. You've tested positive for COVID-19. Now, Meadows describes himself as a devout Christian, so instead of writing what the president actually said in his reply, Meadows says it rhymed with, "Oh, spit, you've got to be trucking lidding me." Meadows, of course, happy to help undermine democracy, but he won't swear. It explains the title of his book, "I'm a ducking piece of zit with my nose up Rump's grass hole." Also, Mark Meadows fans.
Oh, they're fans.
Mark Meadows fans here tonight. Also, you've got to be trucking lidding me? So I'm gonna guess in the Meadows household, the word kidding is what they call the act of making kids. And if you kid yourself, you'll go blind. Now, after the president's positive test, the White House had him take a different test and got a negative result, which, according to Meadows, the president took as full permission to press on as if nothing had happened. Not exactly the actions of someone who cares about public health. Oh, I only might have herpes? Well, then pucker up, ladies. The kissing booth is back on. Oh, this? I've just been eating cornflakes. Meadows, I bumped my lip on a biscuit. What? Now, Meadows took a totally different view and instructed everyone in the president's immediate circle to treat him as if he was positive. So no touching him, no getting close to him, avoid him unless absolutely necessary, a strategy the CDC calls the Melania. The debate, it's an oldie but a goodie. I'm nostalgic. The debate was 3 days later, and according to moderator Chris Wallace, the president was not tested before the debate because he arrived late, so organizers relied on the honor system. The honor system? How can you rely on the honor system when you know he doesn't have any? That's like meeting with Vladimir Putin and relying on the shirt system. So why did Meadows let the debate go forward? Well, because he says by debate day, his boss looked a little bit better. His face, for the most part at least, had regained its usual light bronze hue. Light bronze hue. Maybe he's healthier. Maybe it's Maybelline. It's Maybelline. In fact, their mortuary line looks like he's sleeping. Coincidentally, Meadows dropped his book preview on the same day that he agreed to cooperate in the congressional Capitol attack investigation. So, his congressional testimony might just be a clever marketing ploy. Mr. Meadows, what did the former president know about the planning for January 6th? A lot. And I'm going to tell you everything you need to know in my new book at $14.95 a copy. That's a steal you can't stop. Speaking of COVID, we always are. Tonight is the fourth night of Omicronica. And in response to the new variant, the CDC plans to toughen coronavirus testing for travelers. Tougher testing. That can only mean one thing. Double-wide Q-tip and not up the nose. Try to relax. The new rule will require everyone entering the U.S. to show a negative result from a test within 24 hours of departure. How is that not already the rule? This whole time, they've been letting people test up to 3 days before their flight. That's a pretty big gap. When a cop pulls over a drunk driver, they don't go, "Sir, step out of the car." "Oh, what's that? You tested sober 3 days ago? My bad, I'm sorry." Hooters is that way, on your way. Right, just drive through the Walmart. We're getting there. CDC's not alone. Yesterday, the World Health Organization advised unvaccinated people aged 60 and older to postpone their travel. They also politely requested that all travelers 60 and over stop showing pictures of their grandkids to the person seated next to them. This is Aiden. He's in the Coast Guard. And Madison here is in beauty school. Oh, you're off to the bathroom again? Okay, I'll walk with you. This is Daphne. She has a nose ring. I think that means she's a lesbian. But hopefully, these travel restrictions will help stop the spread, and we'll never have to worry about the Omicron variant in the United States.
CNN can now report the CDC has identified its first case of the Omicron variant in the United States.
The California and San Francisco Departments of Public Health and the CDC have confirmed that a recent case of COVID-19 among an individual in California was caused by the Omicron variant.
Okay, there's no need to panic. Everybody calm down. We just need to social distance and maybe blow up the Golden Gate Bridge and wall off all of San Francisco as a hot zone of the damned. I love everyone in the Bay Area, but goodbye. We don't need your sourdough anymore. Thanks to COVID, we all know how to make it ourselves. You know, in the world of politics, President Biden's approval rating keeps going down. He's particularly not doing so hot with the younglings. According to a new poll, Biden has a 46% approval rating among Americans aged 18 to 29, which is a 13-point drop from where he was in March. But to be fair, Biden is 79 years old. Young people just want someone they can relate to, which is why the most popular politician among young Americans is 80-year-old Senator Bernie Sanders. That's right. The youths love Bernie. They go gaga over my mittens and goo-goo over my idea that they should have health care. They stand me, that's the T, fam, no cap. Now scoop your Uncle Bernie a generous ladle of the chicken noodle. Bitch better have my soup. Bitch better have my soup. Soup. Bitch better have...
That's right.
My soup.
Hey.
One reason the youths are down on Biden is that they're worried about the state of our democracy. In fact, 35% said it is likely they will see a second civil war in their lifetime. No going back for a second civil war until you finish your first one. I still see some plantation wedding venues on that plate, young lady. And it gets worse. 25% of those polled said there was a chance at least one state would secede in their lifetime. Ooh, can we vote on which one? I pick Wyoming. There's only like 9 people there, and one of them is Kanye now. But there is a chance the youths could come around on the president, because after a video went viral on the TikTok, the internet is swooning over Joe Biden's hot Secret Service agent. Okay, but aren't all Secret Service agents hot? I'm pretty sure the job listing says, agent wanted, must look cool in shades, tall and handsome, able to carry me around like a little baby in those big, strong arms. The video is from Biden's trip to Nantucket last weekend. Let's take a look. Whoa. If he's there, who's manning the door at Abercrombie & Fitch? I don't. What? No. But truly, wouldn't anyone look fine with that music and those sunglasses? Let's try it out. Nah, it's definitely that guy. And I personally want to salute that Asian, because despite all this attention to his sexiness, he's just focused on doing his job. Just like my head of security, Silvio. Isn't that right, Silvio?
Yes, sir.
We got a great show for you tonight. My guest is Javier Bardem. When we come back, it's the goofiest time of the year.